So previously we have learned about the big six concepts in the programming of the Arduino, in which you have learned about the digital write, analog write, digital read, the if statement, which is the conditional statement, analog read, and then also the serial communication. So this is all the six items that we will usually use in the Arduino programming. So today I will cover up the other four concepts of the programming, which is quite important if we wish to develop some sort of the applications, a bit complex application in the Arduino. So basically, the first one is based on the variable, which is how we define the variable, and then secondly is how we can define the location of the variable and whether it would be the difference between the global variable versus the local variable and its functionality. The second one is the function. So function is one of the important aspects to manage our code very neatly, because of usually we just put some in the main flow of the programming. So we will use the function to organize the flow, because of a more complex function we will put inside of the function procedure, and then we just call the function in the main flow, so that in the our main flow, which is in the loop part of the programming, we just call the function that will execute a more complicated procedure inside it. The third part is the string. String manipulation will be quite important if we wish to develop an application that communicate via the serial communication protocol, in which when two microcontroller or PC to microcontroller was actually connected, then one of the medium that they can use to communicate is based on the serial communications. So for the serial communication, the procedure will be something like is either the PC will send the character to the Arduino, and then Arduino need to decode that character or string to ensure that what function can be executed based on the given command. And then the final part is the serial input. So basically the serial input and string is quite directly connected, in which previously we have learned about the how we can print the serial command. We just use the serial dot print to print the command, or serial dot print ln to print out the new line of every command. So in this case, we will use the serial input, in which if the Arduino communicate with PC sends some sort of the command to Arduino, and how the Arduino can receive the command properly, and then do some decoding to execute some of the given tasks. So let's start with the first one, which is the variable. So basically the variable, we have actually developed some sort of the application in which we use the integer variable. So usually we will use the integer variable, long variable for the very big numbers, and then the floating point. Floating point is something like we have some sort of this type of value, means that we have some it's not something like the integer. Floating and double is usually the same, but most of the common thing that we will use is the integer. Second is the floating point if involved in the division operation, and then boolean. Boolean is to give some sort of the status, whether it is true or false depending on the condition. And then the other one is either the character or the string. So this will be some sort of the common variable that we will use in the Arduino programming. So basically this is the way that we will define the variable. So if we put the variable in the top of the programming structure, so it means that if we put that thing not inside of the function of the setup and function of the loop, so for this particular case, x equal to 5 will be recognized when we put here inside of the setup and inside of the loop. So this is what we call as the global variable. So if we define the variable inside of the loop, so means that this type of variable, so for this particular case INF only will be recognized inside of the void loop. So means that if we call the function if we call the variable INF in the void setup, so it won't recognize that thing. So in general, so this is the concept of the local. Local means that you define that things inside of the loop, inside of the function, so only that particular function that will recognize that thing. So how we want to make sure that this variable will be recognized by other function? So we need to ensure that we will send this particular variable via the function that I will introduce to you afterwards. So basically the same thing for this particular command. So if we just define the integer inside of the for loop, so only this integer j will be only recognized inside of this particular loop. So the second part is the function. So basically there are two ways to define the function. So one of the thing is based on we create the function that will not return any value, and then the second thing is the function that will return some value. So basically what is the difference? If the function not return any value means that in front of the command we will put the name as the void. So in front of the function, we will put the void command. Whereas if the function will return a value, so the value, the type of variable that the function will return, so will be defined in terms of the function, in terms of the function identification or the function variable notification. So basically for this particular case, if we define the function of the dash line, so since this is void, so means that once we call the function of the void, so for this particular case, it will just execute this function without returning any value. So in contrast, for this particular case, so means that if we call the function, so in this particular case, if we call the function of the circle area, so circle area will return the value to the one that call it. So for this particular case, if we call this function circle area none.2, so for this particular case, the none.2 will be sent to the function of the circle area, and then the value of the none.2 will be put in here, and then the operation will be executed to calculate the value, and then the result as we execute this type of operation, the multiplication operation will be sent back to this particular function in the floating point representation. So this is basically if we wish to ensure that the local variable will be recognized by other function, we need to send that value here. So in this case, if we define some variable here, let's say x, so if we wish to make sure that this function will recognize this x, so we can send the value straight away inside of this particular function. So the notation of the type of the variable shall be the same in terms of the value that we send, the type of value we send, and also the type of value inside of the function. So it's quite it's straightforward, it's quite easy. So in a simple way, for the Arduino, if you wish to develop the function, so first thing first is that you need to put the type of that particular function, whether it will return value or not. If the function is not returning any value, then straight away put the void, and then this is the name of the function. So it will depend on us what type of what is the name of the function that we wish to call for this particular case. So in a situation that the function will return a value, so we need to know what type of the value. It can be float, it can be integer, it can be binary, sorry, it can be boolean. So it will be highly depending on the type of function. So the same thing, this is the type of function that the value will be returned, and then the second thing is the name of the function, and then what type of value that the function will receive. So for the non-returning any value function, So you can also put some sort of the, if the function receives some sort of the value, we can put some sort of the other parameters here. Let's say in a, and then we can call the value of a instead of this particular function. So basically that's the notation how we able to create a function, call the function in the Arduino programming. So the next part, so this is one of the important aspects in developing the communication protocol, serial communication protocol. How we can create some sort of the function that can handshake between two microcontroller, or between PC and microcontroller. So now the thing is based on the string manipulation. It means that the PC will send some sort of the command in a string form, and then later on the Arduino can decode that thing accordingly. So basically for the string, so basically there are two ways in Arduino. The first one will be just the standard C notation by using the char representation. Second is straight we use the string notation. So in most of our example, our later example, so I will prefer that we use the string function straight away. Because of what? Because of once we define the variable of the string, so we can actually call this type of function by simply let's say if text1 is our string, if we define that thing as a string, then we can call this particular function by simply put the dot notation and then call the this particular function. So this is basically based on the object oriented programming. So basically for this particular case, so we define three type of string variable. So the first one is the text one, which is for the text one we have some sort of the text. Text one has some text, text two has some other text, and then text three we left that thing as we left that thing empty. So in this particular programming flow, so the first step is define the serial. So this is to communicate or to send the data to the serial port, and then the first function just print the text one, and then since this is the serial.print, not serial.println, so the concatenation of the text will be in term of the row notation. So it means that we just merge this text in here horizontally, and then the second one is the serial.print. So this is we just call the string variable text1, and then we can just get the length of that particular string by using dot length. So it's quite straightforward, it's quite easy once we define that thing. So if we wish to use all these particular function, the properties of the string, we need to define the variable as a string, and then we can use all these particular properties function. So this is quite straightforward. So means that the output will be text1 is this string, and then plus is, and then we put the length of the text, maybe 10, and then another part is the final concatenation, which is in terms of the how many characters long. So if you look at this particular function, so this is the serial.println. So it means that for this particular part, it will perform the concatenation function, and then later on create a new line to receive another serial value. So if we look at this particular function, so this is just print the text2 and then the concatenation, the same thing in terms of the row formation, and then later on it's almost the same with the previous one. So the final answer will be text2 is the length of text2. So in this case, text2 maybe the length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, maybe 14. And then text2 is 14 character long. So that is the output for this particular procedure. And then the final part, which is we have the text1 dot concate. So concate means that for this particular case, if you look this function concate, so means that return a new string that is combination of the string and s2. So means that this is the merging between these two texts. So for this particular case, text1 is actually this string, and then the concate, so means that it will merge with the text2. So means that the final sentence for this particular case is if stated serial document text1 now contains, so text1 we have this function as concatenate or as merge the text1 and text2. So it will put the text1 now contain this string has more text. Sorry, yeah, this string has more text. So it means that we have merged this text and then print it out later on. So basically, this is some sort of the notation of the string. So if we try to look at all these particular functions, so usually one of the things that we use is the length. This is quite common. We want to know what is the length. And then the next part is the substring. Substring is that let's say we have a longer string. Let's say A, B, C, D, E. So substring index 2 means that if we wish to extract just A, B, C, so what we can do is that we just put substring. Starting location here will be 0, and then 2, 1, 2. So this is the length. So it will go to this notation and then move to location forward and then extract all this particular information, and then it's something like we cut part of the strings and then put it in the new variable notation. Another part is the to in is the if we have some string and then let's say the string is actually the means the number, then before we can call some sort of the function that can use the integer value, we need to convert the string notation variable to the integer so that it will be utilized in the subsequent function call. So we will refer this thing later on in terms of the string notation when we do some sort of the example later on. So one of the things regarding the string, so this is one of the important aspects in the string manipulation. So is the splitting comma function. Splitting comma means that if we have some function, let's say we want to make sure the function of to get, and then we say 0, 4, 3. So we want to make sure that Arduino can get all these particular variable and then was separated by comma. So it means that we want to ensure that Arduino will get this type of the partial of the string to get. First is the to get, second is 0, 4 and 3, so that we can manipulate the all the variable that was sent via the serial communication. So one of the important thing is that to detect the comma, the location of the comma. So for this particular example, so let's say we have some text in the string notation, means that for this particular text we have the Peter comma Paul comma Mary. So the aim is that how we are able to extract the individual name based on this longer string. So what we can do is that first we need to define some of the variable that can detect the comma location. So basically this is quite straightforward. So for this particular case, first it will detect the comma position. So the comma position can be detected by using this notation, which is message is the variable of the text, and then index of. Index of will find what we provide here inside of the longer string. So if we try to look back, index of s, this is the function. So it will return the index of the supply string or character. So for this particular case, so we supply the character of comma. So this particular function will give the location of comma that was detected in the screen. So let's say for this particular case, it will loop or iterate throughout the string, and then first thing first, for this particular case, serial.println. So message.substring 0 to comma position. So the first this type of command will give the comma position. So for this particular case, the comma position will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the location number 6. So the next part is the substring. So as I mentioned previously, substrings means that we will cut the longer string depending on the given value starting point and also the length. So in this particular case, the starting point is 0, so it will start from here, and then later on the comma position. So in this case, the comma position will be number 6. So for this particular case, it will take starting from this location up until the comma position, and then it will actually extract this first name. And then later on for this second part will be message equal to message.substring. So in this case, the substring will be starting in the comma position +1. So comma position +1 means that it will start with here, and then for this message, message.length, so what it will do is that it will take all the remaining string here, and then iterate the process. Next, detects the comma position, and then once to take the comma position, take the string, and then the operation will be repeated. So this is basically how we can manipulate the string to ensure that we are able to extract the individual the portion of the string instead of the longer string. So it will be more clear when we do our example later on. Okay, this will be the final part that we will cover up today, which is in terms of the serial input. So basically, serial input, as I mentioned, for the serial output means that we just print out all the value of the input that was received from the serial port. Whereas serial input means that it will wait for any incoming character or any incoming string. And then later on we'll do some manipulation before can print out what is the received information. So for this particular case, for the serial input, we can use these two commands. The first one is the serial.read. Serial.read, basically it will read the character, the char value, means that in terms of the 1 byte. And then in contrast, the second one is the serial.read string. Serial.read string means that it will read the whole string, and then the string will be differentiate with respect to the enter ASCII number. So when it detect the enter, so it will assume that there is the new line of string that the system will be detected. So basically when we press enter, so it means that whatever we have typed before we press enter will be appear when we use the serial.read string function. So basically this command usually what we will do is that the serial port will be waiting for any variable. So only if any data available in the serial com port or in the serial com buffer, then it will execute the read function. So it will be supposed to be the same here. I will show you later on. So we need to put some function that read is there any incoming variable from the PC. If yes, then only it will execute the serial.read string or serial.read function. Then in the subsequent step, we can actually execute what type of we can manipulate the received information before we can execute under subsequent function. So usually it will be better if we have some sort of this cheat sheet so that we can refer some sort of the what type of the command that we will use in doing or in designing the programming task. So basically there is the in terms of the four types of the important part that we will cover up today. First, in terms of the variable, type of the variable, how we can, what is the difference between the local variable and then global variable. Secondly, is in terms of the function. So basically, function can be defined in terms of the two categories. The first category is either the function will not first is the function will not return any value, and then the second one, the function will return some value. So depending on the type of the variable that the function will return to the caller. The third part is the string manipulation. So basically the string manipulation, once we define the variable into the string notation, basically we can use most of the string function properties by simply dot call that function, dot length is dot what is dot substring, and etc. And then the final one is in terms of the serial input. Serial input means that how we're able to receive the serial communication from the third party. So for this particular case, we have two methods. The first one is based on the serial.read, means that it will read the character, the char variable, and then second one is the serial.read string, means that it will read the whole string that was separated by the enter ASCII character. So basically this is all the four things that we will be manipulate or we will be do today to solve some problem. So let's look at our particular problem. So basically this is our problem. So the problem is that we need to design a system with the following requirements. So the first one, the Arduino output connected with servo motor. Okay. Second requirement is that Arduino input receive command from first PIR sensor and then second from the serial port. So the third requirement is that for the PIR sensor input, when any motion detected, move servo to 180-degree position, and then after waiting about 2 seconds, move it back to zero position. So there is when any motion detected in the PIR sensors, it's something like we open the gate or we execute some sort of the other task based on the alarm that was triggered by the PIR sensor. For the serial port command, the list of command received and its function are listed below. So the first one, if the received commands is servo angle, or so the difference between these things is that this is with a small s, this is with the capital S in front of the command. So servo angle or servo angle capital or all in the capital of in terms of the servo angle, then rotate the servo according to the angle. Okay, so means that when we detect this command was sent by the third party to the Arduino, then take the angle information and then rotate the servo according to the angle. Next, create a function to check the value of angle. Create a function to check the value of angle, and it must be integer only before execute the command. Create a function to check the value of angle. It's supposed to be must be integer only before execute the command. And then the final one is the receive command is initial in the different notation of the capital letter. Move servo to the zero position. So this is all the requirement of the task that we will do today, and then we will manipulate most of the four type of important aspect in the Arduino programming, which is the variable, the function, the string and also the serial dot read. So basically we will do that things in the designing phase.